Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Boys, here we go. We're daf Mem Tes Omid Aleph. Tani Rabba Bar Barchano Kamei de Rav. Kivsiat Tzeres Sheshachton L'Shum Elam. If you recall, let's just go to this simple chart that we had, and I'm only bringing it up because we're familiar with it. But on the right side, we have 7 sheep and 2 rams. 2 rams and a bull. The kohen goes, grabs a bull, the 2 bulls, the 2 rams, and he chaps the 2 shlamim. We're talking about the shalmi. So let's go back to this picture, if we have it even over here. Ugh, doesn't work now. Okay, it works with the mouse only. No, I don't have it here. Okay, but you know what we're talking about. We're talking about this whole sugi is talking about the 2 karbanos that we use on Shavuos. What? Oh. Now, instead of grabbing the 2 sheep that are a year old, he goes ahead and he grabs the 2 rams on the side. Yeah? It's in there. Okay, good. Kivsei Atzeres, Sheshachton L'Shum Elam. He grabs the 2 sheep and says to himself that it's Elam, that it's the 2-year-olds. But it's Shavuos today. And the rams are also for the Shnei Alechem. The rams are for the Shnei Alechem, and the sheep are for the Shnei Alechem. He grabs the sheep, and he says in his mind that it's rams. But the rams are a oila, and the sheep are shlamim. But he grabbed the right thing. He grabbed the right thing, shechted the right thing, just as in his mind, he switched it to rams. It's okay, but the owners, who are the owners in this case? The tzibur. Klai has to bring 2 more sheep. Omalei Rav says, Rav, olav. No, it's good. Why? You grabbed the right thing. It was on the right day. It was l'shem, the Shnei Alechem, because Shnei Alechem needs 7 sheep, 2 rams, 2 shlamim sheep, and a bull. So you did it for the Shnei Alechem. Just in your mind, it's a 2-year-old, not a 1-year-old. Okay. In your mind, it's an oila, not a shlam. But you did it l'shem, the Shnei Alechem. Rav Chisda, let me explain something here. So it's a little interesting how Rav Chisda says it. It's what he means, and it's a machlokes. If he comes to argue, he comes to explain. So let's say he comes to explain. Oh, Rav Chisda, Staber Milsa the Rav because Sover Elim ushchatam l'shum kvasim. He thought that there were rams. He reverses it here. In other words, if he thought that they're rams and he shechted it for the right thing, they were sheep and he shechted it for sheep, but in his mind they were rams. In other words, he's trying to do something bad, but he actually did what was good. He wanted to shecht it for rams, but they are sheep, and he grabbed sheep, but he's trying to flip it in his mind. But he did the right thing. It's no, the sugya, the conversation is whether you could be oiker something, you could uproot something on purpose or by accident. That's the sugya, really. There's not so much in terms of leiv. We don't know if this is leiv because I think a lot of it has to do with saying it straight out. Yeah, seems like in general there's a machlokes Rishonim, but over here, yeah. But from this sugya, for the most part, we say that he says it. A lot of times they point out he said it. Because Sover Elam, he thought in his mind that it was the wrong thing, but it really was the right thing. And he shechted it for kvasim, and they were kvasim. At the end of the day, he shechted the right thing with the right thing. But if he, in his mind, he thought it's a oila, and he shechted it for a oila, but they were sheep, yeah? If he made a mistake, if he made a real mistake, not that he tried to flip it on purpose, but he made a real mistake, he thought that they were an oila, and he shechted it for an oila, but they happened to be sheep, they happened to be the shlamim, then loy. Why? Akira b'taz havi akira. If, had he known what it really was, he wouldn't have done it. He would have shechted it for sheep. So the only reason why he shechted it as an oila, because he made a mistake. It was a mistake, a real honest mistake. Honest mistake says Rav Chizda in Rav that it ruins it. An honest mistake ruins it. Rav Omar akira b'tos lo have akira. So now, until the Mishnah, we're just going to be talking about this concept of akira b'tos. When you uproot something by mistake, is it a real uprooting or not? And I have a question from what we just learned, what we're going to learn. A lot of us had this question, and I don't know if we ever resolved it, but here's a good answer to it. When a kohen, yeah, when he takes a carbon and shechs it for the wrong thing, or for the wrong time, let's say, he does pigul in his mind. He says, I'm going to eat it for 4 days. You hear? What are you tying to? You're a kohen. What if you mess up the shechita on purpose? You don't like your neighbor. Your neighbor shows up with a carbon, and he says, I want to bring a carbon taida, and you in your mind, you say, okay, this is a naila. You mess him up, gishmak, and now, afterwards, you tell me, by the way, I messed it up, sorry, yeah? It was an oil, you have to go bring another taida. The talach has to bring another taida, so you cost him $500. You got him good for $500. Do you have to pay or not? But it's grama. Okay, so it says over here, HaKoyanim shepiglu ba'migdash, a kohen who thought he had the wrong intent during the shechita, that he's going to eat it after 3 days, mezidin chayavim. If you did it on purpose, you're chayiv. You have to pasha pay. Ha shagim p'tur. Seems like if it was by mistake, pater. B'tana ela pigul and pigul. But the pigul doesn't work. By mistake. He did it by mistake. He didn't realize that it's an oila. He thought it's an oila. He really thought it's an oila. He didn't realize it's a taida. So you're chayiv. Oh, showing through. It really works. What's the case? He knew it was a chatas and purposely he went and he did a shlamim. Meaning, he thought to himself, I'm going to eat this for 2 days. What does shlamim mean? You have to stick this in. It's a little bit of a knetch. Yeah? I'm saying a little bit of a chiddush here, under my breath. I said it and I'm going to repeat it because I realized it flew over the radar. When the Gemara says he thought it's a shlamim, it doesn't just mean he thought it's a shlamim. He thought I'm going to eat it for 2 days because that's part of the pigul. Pigul means instead of eating it for 1 day as a chatos, I'm going to eat it for 2 days. Why did he call it shogi? He did it on purpose. He went from a chatos to a shlamim deliberately. So it's amazing. He thought it's a shlamim, even though it's a chatos. It's a real chatos. The guy comes in and has a sign on it. The famous Yoshi sign, Amachatas, and he says, in his mind, he thought it's a shlamim by mistake. And he thought that it's a shlamim, and he said it's a shlamim. So you see, even by mistake, you can make something pigul. So over here we have a raya that uprooting something by mistake is a good uproot. It works. So comes Abaya and he says a murdiga thing. He says, I like this chap. I don't know why. Says Abaya, no. That's not what happened there. I don't have a right that akira b'tos have akira, that if you uproot something by mistake, it's considered akira. No, because what happened was, he knew it's a chatos. Become a chashibah l'shum shlamim. And he deliberately says it's a shlamim. So what are you saying? He's amazed? No, he's not amazed. Why? Uboy memuter. The reason why it's not amazing because his shaygig is that he thought that this is halachically okay. Almost what Rabbi Simon did right now. Rabbi Simon thought also that a kohen can take a chatos. He didn't really think it, but if we would push them a little bit more on that gang, you know what I'm saying? The chatas shows up. He says, you know what? This guy doesn't need a chatas. I think he deserves a shlam. Like he thought in his mind that he could maneuver it. That was the mistake. So you don't have a raya whether akira b'shoigig or not because there's no shoigig here. It was deliberate, so it's not an akira b'shoigig. It was akira b'mezid. Just it's not considered mezid because he thought that it's mutter. Masav Rebbe Zera. V'alu l'baylam shum chayva. Mazir zeh Reb Shimon Oimer kol menachos shenikmitzu shaloi l'shmon ksherois. V'alu l'baylam shum chayva. The first Mishnah in our Masechta, but on Amud Beis, the Gemara elaborates on it, brings a Tosefta that elaborates on it. That what? When you bring a mincha, you do the kmitza. Yeah, you bring flour. If you're new to Menachos, some people just started now. The flamet, some guy said, people start today. Bring a bowl of flour. You stick your hand in there. You do kmitza. The kohen does kmitza. It goes like this. But he, in his mind, he thought that it's a different type. There's different types of menachos, right? We have here a whole bunch of menachos. Actually, this picture I think made it into the Gemara probably. Yeah, michas marcheshes. Oh no! Why do I need this? Yoshi had beautiful stuff here. Let me show you. Check this out. Let's do this. I almost missed this. This is what? This is minchas marcheshes. Here we go. Into the bigger pot with a lot of oil. What's this? This is a machmas. No. Is it marcheshes? Machmas. Smells like a deep dish pizza over here. Is it minchas? No, this has oil. I should have really looked what it is. It tells me, mincha blula. This is a mincha blula. And this is a mincha chareva, meaning it doesn't have any oil. So when you watch these videos, when you watch a person doing this live, you know what he's making. So when he says the wrong words, it doesn't really have an effect on what's going on here, because I see what he's doing. Whereas by a behema, when you're shechting, every shechit is the same. So you don't know, shlamim, chatos, we don't know what's going on. You can't see from, you don't, ma'isa beinu mechichim. So it says, that's what the Tosefta says. Kol menachos shenikmitzu shaloi l'shmon, even if the kohen said, oh, I'm doing a blula, when he's actually doing a chareva, ksheros, it's good. V'alu l'baylam shulchan. This is unbelievable. It had zero effect. The owner doesn't even have to bring another mincha. Sheina menachos doimis l'zvachim. A mincha is different than a karba. Shakoyim is machmas l'shum marcheshes. If you're doing a flatter one, and you did it l'chaved marcheshes, which is a deep fry, which has a lot of oil, softer. You can tell what he's doing. It's a different pot, different everything. Shimachmas. You can see that it's a flat one. Chareva l'shum blula. And if a guy says, instead of you bring a minchas chayta, a sinner doesn't put any oil in it, and he did l'shum blula, he's saying, oh, it has a lot of oil. You see that it has no oil. You can say whatever you want. When it comes to carbon, it's different. Shchita achas l'kulon, it's the same shchita. Kabbalah achas l'kulon, zrika achas l'kulon, same Kabbalah, same zrika. Now we have to know. Hechidami. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But let's say he did one. Hechidami, ilay v'du yodel machvasi v'kol komens lo l'shum marcheshes. Let's say he knows that it's a machvas, but he did it on purpose. He tried to do like an akira b'kavana. What is it called? The opposite of tos? Akira b'yidiyah? I don't know what the so what? So what if you see what he's doing? He decided to uproot it. He thought it really is, what is it? It really is a thin one, a machvas. But he decided in his mind that it's the thick one, and he said it's a thick one. V'ta is a real mistake, an honest mistake. We know that's a mistake. And Memela, it's nothing. It's not a real. It doesn't change the status of this mincha. You could see the only reason why it's not a real akira is because everybody could tell. But in general, when people can't tell, akira b'tos have akira, it would uproot it. No, what happened was he knew for a fact there was a machmas, and he did it on purpose. He said, I know it's a machmas, but I want to get my neighbor good. I'm going to call it a marcheshes. So what? So if he knew, so what do I care if everybody else knows? He did it b'dafka. When you do it b'kavana, you do have the power to uproot it. So what if everybody knows that he's doing it on purpose? No. And over here they say mefurish, machshava means dibur. Machshava de minkura pasur achmana. Machshava de loy minkura pasur achmana. When does it work when you change the status? When nobody else could tell. When it's a blatant lie. I look at a deep fry thing and I say it's flat. It's a blatant lie that doesn't work. You cannot uproot it. So that's the end of that sugya. Rabbi, so we have a much easier sugya now. Rabbi say, every single morning we bring a carbon tamid. Like you think about it. We do the daf in the morning and the daf in the evening. It's mamish tamid. Tamid should be tamid. 7 days a week. The tmidim, if you don't have the tamid, you can bring the carbon musaf on Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, Yontif, you bring a carbon musaf. One is not dependent on the other. We're continuing with the theme of Perek HaTcheles, this unbelievable Perek. We had such an on this Perek, it was so gewaldic. People mamish thought that the whole Menachos is like this, like we forgot where we came from. We did have like 2-3 weeks of mamish Agadata and who knows. Okay, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to get back there. But for now, no, this is easy stuff. This is mamish Agadata. So the carbon tamid doesn't hold back the musaf. The musaf doesn't hold back the. We're talking about things that are not ma'akiv. They don't. What's the word? I don't even know anymore. Inhibit. They don't inhibit each other. In other words, if you brought the musaf before the tamid, you could still bring the tamid. B'kitzer, one is not ma'akiv the other. Let's say you have a Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. So you only have one. You can bring one without the other. What if the Kohanim decided not to bring it for whatever reason? We'll see in the Gemara it has to be dafke b'shoigig. They didn't bring in the morning. Then you can bring one at night. You just continue weiter, you're saying. That's in this case. By the Talmud. You're right. Oh, by the Talmud, you just continue weiter. Oh, that's not the Gemara, it's the Mishnah. It's only when the Kohen was a shoigig. This we have to understand. If they did it deliberately and they didn't bring it in the morning, don't bring it in the evening. What does it mean, don't bring it in the morning, evening? Why not? The answer is, those Kohanim, we punish them. They can't bring it in the evening. Other Kohanim should. Says Reb Shimon, no, if you miss it in the evening, you don't just pick yourself up and go back. You make up what you didn't do in the morning. You do 2 shachrises. You do shachris and a mincha together. Why? And he says an interesting lashon here that the Gemara is going to have to explain for us. This beautiful picture of the Mizbech Hazav, how did we inaugurate it? By putting Ketores on it. It's not inaugurate. You can't just put a Mizbech in the base and say, oh, it's Kadosh. You have to make it Kadosh. It has the Kli become Kadosh? By using it. So Mamela, all the Kalim were like that also. The Mizbech Ha'ila, the famous Mizbech Ha'ila that you shecht all the Karbanas on, you makriv all the Karbanas on, Ella b'tamid shachar. The first carbon of the day, which is the tamid, they put the tamid on it, boop, it became mechunach. You're able to use it now. It has the kedusha. And the shulchan. This button works? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Mamish geschmack. See, I didn't push the button. This guy's posing for the. Who said it? That's the bezichin. So you put the lechem upon him on Shabbos, it becomes inaugurated on Shabbos. V'lo yisam menoiro, ela b'shiva, nereseha. There, menoiro. No. The first time that they used the menorah became inaugurated by putting on all the candles. So this is the question that we're going to be dealing with. By the way, Amud Beis is very short. Tzibur she'ein lahem tmidim u'musafim ezem koydem. You hear the question? We're going to have to dig into the question. It's not so pashut. If you have one or the other, you only have enough for one, for carbon tamid, or so the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is you only have enough for tamid, you only have enough for or from Musaf, which one should you do? What's the obvious answer? So that cannot be the question then. So what is the question? It's that day. Why? Now 1 minute, I'm going to ask you a question, Rebbe Aryeh. It's not so pashut. Musaf has Kedusha, has the Kedusha of Shabbos. Maybe the Kedusha of Shabbos overpowers the Tamid. The what? The what? That's not the answer, though.
It's the Tamid of Shabbos has Kedusha also.
That's the answer. So we have to say with the Gemara is just, what does the Gemara do? Let's do Chazarah here. Gemara is just going through the steps, showing you how we got to all the steps. Obviously, we know the answers, right? We know the answer. The Gemara is just as smart as us, at least. So they're not. Well, it just wants the way they speak it out. Instead of saying X, Y, Z, they said it a lashon of a kasha, but they're saying it well here. Saying it with the back tail. If you have both, and it's the same day, why? They'll have a tadur umekudash. You see that extra word he sticks in there. When you bring a tamid on Shabbos, it's not just a regular tamid. It has gedusha. It's tamid that has gedusha. So it's tadur v'shein tadur. It's the tadur plus the kedusha. So this is a beautiful shaila. You have the tamid for Sunday, but you're now on Shabbos. So what do you bring first? Do you bring the sheep as a musaf for Shabbos? It has the kedusha, but tomorrow you're not going to have a sheep for Sunday, for the tamid and Sunday. So what's the obvious question that everybody asks here? Good kasha. But it doesn't apply to this case. On the one hand, you have tadir for Sunday morning. Or no, because the Sunday tamid doesn't have the kedusha of Shabbos. It's a simple tamid. And today's musaf has special kedusha of Shabbos. By the way, there's nothing more kaddish than Shabbos, right? There's no yontif, there's nothing that is as kaddish as Shabbos. Not Yom Kippur, not Rosh Hashanah. Shabbos is the top of the top. So he says, Tenisua, we learned. Our Mishnah, we learned that a tamid doesn't hold back the musaf, and the musaf doesn't hold back the tamid. And the musaf can be makiv one another if it's Shabbos or Rosh Chodesh. What's the case? If you have enough sheep for the musaf and the tamid, and the question is, could you do the musaf before the tamid? Let's say you did the musaf before the tamid. Did you ruin anything? You cannot bring anything before the carbon tamid. The tamid always comes number one in the morning, and it's the last carbon out at night. It's the sandwich. You cannot do anything before tamid, not in the morning. You can't do anything after the tamid at night. Well, how do I know? It's a mefurish pasuk with the hay. It's the oila. The lesle. The pshat is you don't have enough animals. You have just enough for one or the other, either tamid or musaf. What comes first? Yomi in our Mishnah. And if it's the same day, the carbon tamid and musaf amai, obviously we're going to go with the carbon tamid because you do this every single day. So we're talking about we're worried about tomorrow's tamid and versus today, right now, musaf. So this answers the question. When you have a musaf today and a tamid for tomorrow, and you only have one animal, what do? And the answer is whatever you want. They're equal. No raya. You have enough for both. And the question is, I want to do the musaf first. With the we have a mefurish pasuk that nothing comes before a tamid. What do you mean? What's your question, Bichlal? How can you do a musaf before the tamid? Mitzvah ba'almahu. This pasuk is telling you what's the best way to do it. First comes tamid, then comes the musaf. Toshma. And this is very gishmak. Every single day, you have to have at least 6 sheep that are checked. We're going to see soon. You have to make sure that these sheep don't have a mum. So you check them out for how long? For 4 days. And it says over here, Lashon, and I want to point out the Lashon now, so it'll be easier later. Kidei, l'Shabbos. What is Kidei, l'Shabbos? It should say, l'Shabbos, v'l'shnei yomim tovim shel Rosh Hashanah. I need, for Shabbos, let's say Shabbos falls out on Shabbos, which it does usually, and on Sunday you have Rosh Hashanah, and on Monday you have Rosh Hashanah. So you have 3 days in a row, Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah. Or if you want to reverse it, you could have Thursday, Friday, and then Shabbos. Because a 3-day yontif, so that's why I need 6. 2 for each day. 2 for Shabbos, 2 for the first day of Rosh Hashanah, 2 for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Hey, Chidami. This lay, if you have enough karbonis for everything, think about it. You're going to have a total, you need 22. How do you have 22? You need 7 musaf for each day of Rosh Hashanah, so total of 14, plus the 6 tmidim is 20, plus Shabbos 2 musafs, it's 22. You need a total of 22 animals. How's 6 enough for you? Elalav, the Leslie. Talking about he doesn't have enough. How come you chose 6? Because we care, we're focusing on the tmidim. Tamid comes before Musaf. Says Gemara, no. Loilam this lay. You have enough for Musaf, you have enough for Tamid. Because only for carbon tamid do you need to check it. Umani, I have a question for you, and this will explain this teretz. What if you didn't do the 4-day checking? You shechted the carbon tamid and you got lucky. It's not a balmum. Is this a good carbon tamid or not? The whole point of checking it for 4 days is to make sure it doesn't have a mum. You didn't. But it happens many times. You shecht an animal and it doesn't have a mum without checking it. Doesn't have a mum. Good or not good? There are those who say not good. Not good. No. Because it's a chiyuv to do bikur. It's not a like a eitz toiva. Oh, make sure you have something good. No. Part of the halacha of a tamid is you have to check it for 4 days to see if it has a mum or not. But it's part of it. It's not a it's not a practical thing to make sure it doesn't have a mum. It's part of the halacha. No. Check it for 4 days. Yes. Each day, the Rambam says, or there's different Rishonim say, each day you got to go and take a check. You don't look at the last day and the first day. Every day you go and check. It's part of the halacha. That's what I'm trying to explain here. This halacha was said, says the Gemara, only by a tamid. This doesn't apply to a musaf. You have to make sure you have a karbonis that are not a balimum, but you can check it 1 day. This is a 4-day checking. No, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you over here. Belishkas hatloim arba yomim. Koidim shchita. And it's only for tamid. Umani, then bagbaghi. Minayin l'tam shetam bikur arba yom koidim shchita tamid loim ar tishmeru l'hakim. It's a pasuk. So once it's a pasuk, you see, it says by a tamid tishmeru l'hakim b'moyadei. U'la'alanu oimer by Pesach, by Korban Pesach, it says v'hoyu lochem l'mishmeres. You should watch this by Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Klal Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu, v'hoyu lochem l'mishmeres. This sheep should be the mishmeres adar basa yom. So you had to take the sheep 4 days before. So you see, it's mamsha pasuk. It's a pasuk by Talmud. So it tells you this halacha. They have to check these animals for 4 days. Where did you get 6? Shivahavu. It's actually 7. I forgot to tell Yoshi to fix it. So how are you going to have a sheep on Tuesday morning? You're coming off a 3-day yontif. Where are you going to find that sheep? How are you going to check it? So you need an extra one for Tuesday morning. The Tamech, man, have you. So he says, oh, what about you? So what about Erev Shabbos? The last one right before Shabbos, where are you going to get that one? Holy gosh, the boss of the Agriv come. Yeah, I already took that into account. You already shechted the one Erev Shabbos. Now you need at least 6 later on. You need at least one for Tuesday morning. That little arrow shows where we have a little chamber for the. Oops. Lishkas Atloim. Lishkas Atloim over here. Okay. So you need for Shabbos and the first day of Rosh Hashanah and the second day of Rosh Hashanah. So he put Shabbos on the other way. He put Shabbos that was.
Because that's the way the calendar falls out.
No, it's the first day, not Sunday. It's not Sunday.
Day one.
Day one was
Thursday, Friday, Shabbos.
no. You had to fix. You had to fix it. We forgot to fix it. Oh, here goes. Here goes a thing jumping in there. Kids, the Gemara says, "What are you going to do for Tuesday?" And what are you going to do for Friday afternoon? Yeah, it's a little bit backwards. It's backwards. No, exactly. So now it's messed up. So Gemara says it's very interesting. This chart right here, over here is super interesting. Pay attention to this because it's something we didn't think about. How in the world do you have 6 animals that were checked for 4 days? So the answer is that every day you add 2 animals. You keep on adding. That's the difference. You put them in different pens. But in pen, if you see, there's a pen all the way to the left that has 6. The pen right next to it are animals that were checked for 3 days. And the pen next to that is animals that were checked for 2, and then pen next to that, and you keep on, at any given time you have 6. Elo Tana Balmakai. Says the Gemara at the end of the day, our Tana is not talking about Rosh Hashanah at all. The Tana was saying in general, you need 6 days, 6 animals that were checked for 4 days. Why does it say Shabbos and Rosh Hashanah? Simon Ba'alma, to remind you that you remember, in a year from now, we're going to ask you how many sheep do you need. You're not going to know if it's 6 or 8. You'll remember there's a Shabbos and 2-day Yontif. Another 3-day Yontif. That's when Eli Stefansky spoke about his wife saying that she loves living in Eretz Yisrael because it's not a 3-day Yontif. Oh, so you need 6 animals. Like Kanami, and I'll prove it to you, the Ktani, Kedei Shabbos. It doesn't say enough for Shabbos and Rosh Hashanah. It's Kedei as if Shabbos. Like Tani, it should say Lish Shabbos, 4 Shabbos and 2 days. No, we're not talking about Shabbos and Rosh Hashanah. It's not a real thing. It's just a simon shmamino that we're talking about in the middle of the year that you need 6. Kilu, it's Shabbos and to the Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day and Psuras Toivos b'meheira.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.